Okay, I'm not even gonna try. It. I'm Chris. You're obviously here. I appreciate you being here. And here is the channel where I'm doing my adult homeschool education. Now it is week 3, and this week the focus was on meaning as a stabilizer. So what we covered this week was I finished the second half of part 1 from Viktor Frankl's Man's Search for Meaning. Um, the way that I was kind of looking at things this week was meaning precedes endurance, and in the second half, it's really interesting. So this book is about a man who's a psychologist who spent 3 years in Auschwitz, and if you've spent 3 years at that camp, you've got some kind of mental fortitude. You've got something that is holding you into this realm of reality without, slipping into that gentle night. And for Viktor Frankl, it very much was his wife. He had a reason and he had a purpose for doing everything that he was doing. He wanted to be reconnected with his wife. And the vision of his wife is the one thing that sustained him through the day. And even when he thought that he was about to be sent to the final camp, that he was going to be going to a gas chamber, he made one of his best friends memorize his will that specifically talks about how even though we were married for such a short amount of time, your love to me meant more than anything. It meant more than all of this. And it's fascinating how he really focuses on you have to have some kind of purpose. You have to have some kind of reason for being. There has to be some kind of motivating factor prior to your ability to endure what it is that you need to get through. It doesn't matter the situation that you're in, but there has to be some kind of motivation for you to endure it, because it was the men who lost all hope for the future that were the first to succumb to their hopelessness. And they would typically pass within days of finding themselves in a hopeless situation. So I've been trying to tie this into what my entire curriculum is about. And I've been talking a lot about this in the shop over the last week and a half, about why is it that I am doing this whole homeschool curriculum for myself. Because my wife went on a much easier path this year. Easier. She's doing just reading materials. She's not giving herself any kind of homework. She's not providing herself any follow up. How are you improving? She's simply learning because she's interested in learning, and she's focusing a whole lot on the Roman Empire this year. And I really have been asking myself the question, why is it that I'm going the route that I'm going? And especially right now, where it's almost 9 o'clock at night on a Friday night. Typically I'm about to be in bed because I wake up every morning at 5:30, and this week has been kind of chaotic for me. I have had today I had a day that I stayed an hour late at work, longer than I normally do. The last 2 days I've been waking up at 4:30, and usually I'm up at 5:30, but I've just been up at 4:30 for some reason, unable to get tired again. So I've just been exhausted. And I realized that this week has been so hectic that all I want to do is spend a little bit of time with my wife before going to bed. And it's been pushing all of my tasks off until later in the week. And I'm also at that point where, okay, I'm in week 3 of this new habit. Are you actually going to stick with this habit, or are you just going to let it be another New Year's resolution that fails, just like so many people are having right now? And I've been talking a lot about what this process is going to give me in the future. And here's kind of the thing that I look at, because my homework looks like Mondays is a reading day. Tuesday, I have to make a claim and then write an outline. Wednesday, I have to write the essay, which you can find either on my website, easytochris.com, or I just recently started a Substack, which is Easy to Chris, that you can follow all of the essays that I'm writing. But Thursday, I have to take that essay and make it more concise. So I have to reduce the word count by 10 to 15%, then publish it on both those locations. Once published, I do a self-evaluation, and I do the self-evaluation and the published essay, put it into my rubric, and AI grades me based off of 5 different criteria. And those 5 criteria are rated 0, 1, or 2. And first 2 essays that I wrote were 4s. I didn't do very good. This week, I maybe got a 3. So, it's a robot, so take that for what it's worth. But then Friday is the day that I make this. And the whole reason that I make this video is so that way I can be able to answer the question, what did I learn speaking this out loud that I didn't know when I was initially writing the essay? And here is why I bring all of this stuff up. You have to have some kind of purpose before you can sustain your efforts. That purpose precedes the endurance. And for me, being able to have the foresight into the future is what my purpose is actually providing for me. I've enjoyed writing for years. I've always loved writing. I've always loved storytelling. I've always been able to enjoy when people get those aha moments because I'm educating them on something and it just clicks for them. That brings me so much joy in my heart. And I want to be able to demonstrate that for more people. So realistically, I'm getting an opportunity to become the person who's better at writing, because not only am I sitting down and giving myself time to write, I'm taking feedback on how to make my writing better. And I'm using that in practice by making my words more concise. And then I'm also becoming the person who is a lot more comfortable on camera with spoken word. And I've always been fine one-on-one, but this is a different element. This is you sitting alone in a room without interacting with other people, needing to speak with expertise to a camera that doesn't engage with you. So it's kind of hard to say that this and conversational speak occupy the same space. This is a very different thing, and it's one of the reasons why so many people don't create content. And ultimately, being able to reflect on all of these things and self-evaluate is how I can learn and continue to grow and be able to kind of assess some of that growth. Now, this year, I know that I'm going to be focusing on developing my voice and being able to share my story through my lens. That's what 2026 is all about. But I have the foresight of how this is going to be a multi-year plan. And next year, what I intend on doing is I want to be able to use the developed voice that I create this year and tell stories that haven't been told through my lens. And I really want to focus on a lot of philosophy. I would love to be able to focus on Stoicism and the Socratic method and Aristotle and Plato, and kind of put, punk rock DIY lens onto that and how it is that those are actually applicable to our daily life. And all the while, I'm creating this entire body of work. So I'm having essays that I publish. I'm making these videos, which is able to demonstrate my capabilities in both writing, storytelling, and video production. All of those things in year 1 and year 2 will create an entire catalog of content, essentially. So in year 3, when I say, hey, my voice can tell your story, I have an ability to show you that, yeah, I can do this. So this is really what it is that I'm trying to be able to create. And knowing that that's the person that I want to become, and that's the person that I want to be in my 40s, I'm a lot more motivated to sit here late at night and do things that I wouldn't otherwise do. So this is my video essay for week 3 of my homeschooling curriculum. If you guys are just finding me, hi, go back to one of the earlier videos and get an idea of how it is that I created this curriculum for myself. And if you're interested in being able to create a curriculum for yourself, follow me on my Substack. And if you're not already, go ahead and follow, like this page, share it with somebody who wants to better themselves. And until next week, be well.